Should be live now. So, hey everyone, spideylibrarian here. I'm not thwipping because I'm not wearing my usual gloves because I don't wear my gloves when I eat, which, by the way, yes, you're watching me eat. It's another dinner live stream, all right? Because I decided I'd made tamales earlier this month with my family, and I wanted some tamales tonight. And so I decided to go ahead and make some. Um, And if you're not familiar with tamales, they are oh so good. Um, like seriously, you have not lived until you've tried these at least once. Tamales are essentially um, they're essentially lard wrapped in a corn husk with meat in the middle. And it sounds terrible for you, and it is, but as long as you're only eating them during the Christmas season, it's fine. I need to grab a paper towel because my hands are greasy. Give me just a second. Okay. All right. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a wonderful evening, that you've had a good holiday season, that Christmas came and delivered everything that you wanted. You got everything you wanted from Santa, and that hopefully that things are looking pretty good. I've had a pretty decent break. I haven't done a lot, but now you should be able to see up in the corner here. I'm going to enlarge it just a little bit. Okay. But you can see that I've got a little bit of salsa right here. Okay. And then what I've got right here is an unwrapped um, tamale. All right. And as you can see, it is basically a roll of lard and meat together. And what I like to do is I like to basically cut a piece off and then grab some salsa for it. And then I eat it. And it's really, really good. So, anyways, I'm not going to talk too much about that. Oh man. Oh, this one's really good. Um, my cousin made this one. Um, Dude hunts, and he brought some deer meat when we made tamales, and so this is a deer meat tamale. Oh my God, is it good? Like, I could definitely eat this again. So, anyways, guys, so the reason that I'm doing this live stream, I had originally scheduled a watch party for the final episode of season one of The Boys. Um, but that show, I keep giving it the shaft because the final season probably isn't going to come until 2026. So the way I see it, I can take my time with that show. So that's what I'm doing. I've just instead decided, I see people doing these kind of year in review videos, and that's been pretty cool. But if I wanted to do a year in review video, what would I do? And then I thought, well, how about the watch parties that I've done for the movies that we've watched on this channel? And so I think that's as good a thing as ever to talk about. We'll go ahead and review. I think it's like 25 movies I think that we saw that I watched on the channel this year. We're going to go through them. Sorry. We're going to go through them. I'll talk about how it came to pass that I ended up watching them, and then I'll give a little rating for each movie, like where I'd rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. So anyways, I hope you guys are down for that because that's what we're going to be doing. And let me see. Hey, Sith Apple is here. How you doing? And CG Anime Fan, how are you doing? Um Now note that this list of movies that I'm going through, this is only movies that I have seen on my channel, like done a watch party for. That's pretty much it. This isn't movies that I've seen like in the theater or stuff that I've shown at the library, although some of these movies will end up on that particular list as well. Um, and so on and so forth. These are just things that we've done watch parties, or I was calling them watch alongs at first, but apparently some people got angry at that use of the term. because apparently if you do a watch along, you're supposed to be playing it on the screen as well. To me, that's a reaction video, but whatever. And then I saw that my friend chilling in the basement was just calling them watch parties. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. And I was doing exactly what he was doing, which was just watching and reacting to it. No camera, no sound, you know. So, my day is going pretty well. I am I mean, I'm sitting here eating tamales talking to you guys, so I'm pretty happy. Um, I think I mentioned a couple of days ago about a rash that I had, and how that had caused some medical complications because I was using hydrocortisone to treat it, and that I'm also someone that takes an inhaler, and those drug interactions are not good. So I've stopped using hydrocortisone. I'm fine now. Um, and the rash is like it's still there, but like it is on its way out. It is fading. I still get tiny little flare-ups from it, but it's just a little bit of irritation, so I'm not that worried about it. So, anyways, if you guys end up liking this kind of content, and I'm not going to know how this goes until like we get to the end of the stream and then you guys have seen how it goes. Let me know, because we could do this for shows. We could do this kind of year in review type thing for a lot of different things. Um, and if you stick around, I will tell you what the calendar, what the January watch party calendar is going to be, because yes, I have already figured it out. I've got the entire month of January planned out. So, anyways, thank you guys for being here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to bring up this window here. Now, unfortunately, it's really hard. I would really like to cut out, like, I would just like to have, instead of like all the browser stuff, I would like to just like cut it out so that it's only the playlist itself. And if you guys will indulge me, I'm going to see if I can mess with the um let me see. I'm going to see if I can mess with the bordering for it. No, that's not what I want. Okay, hold on. Maybe filters, and then let's see if we can find a, how about a crop? Okay, and I'm gonna see what I can do here. So bear with me, guys. Yes. Okay, all right, this is great. Let me try to speed it up a little bit. Okay, what about 200? 250 maybe? Okay, all right, that's better. And then we're gonna try cropping the top. I'm gonna start with about 150. Okay, all right, so there we go. So that is a much, much better look, I feel, at my list, without all of the browser insanity that goes with it. So hopefully you guys can see it a little bit better. And we're just gonna go down the list, okay? Um, Now this list has got, hold on. All right, we've got 22 movies on this list, all right? So I've watched 22 movies in 2024, and this time next year, assuming I keep this schedule, we're going to have 52 movies, or 51, or whatever. We'll have more than twice as many. Um, because the watch parties that I was doing, they kind of came like, I think at that point, about this time last year, I was thinking, oh, let me start a Patreon and see if I can get people to, you know, um, throw me a couple of bucks to do these. And I have no sense of marketing, guys. I really don't. The Patreon, I've discontinued it. Um, And so I'm just doing the watch parties on my channel now just because it's something easy that I can do that you guys seem to enjoy. So Jurassic Park was one of the movies that had won a poll. Basically, a lot of you guys were surprised because I had never seen it, and that's true. I had never seen it. So I basically decided that this was going to be the first this is going to be the first film that I did on my Patreon. Um, and I did do it, but I decided, you know what? This is going to be the first one I'm doing. I'm going to do the watch party for free. I invited you guys to come on out and do it. You guys showed up. I mean, you guys showed up and were like, yes, we get to watch him. We get to watch him react to like the entire movie. And so I did. And I got to hand it to you guys. I understand why you guys had so many just slack-jawed expressions when when I told you guys I had never seen Jurassic Park or any of the other films in the franchise. Um, that first one was really, really good, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. I do remember taking a break, I think about an hour in. I think that it was like right before the storm came in, and so I essentially decided I would take a break, um, just kind of get ready for the action that was coming in the second half of the movie. And the second half of the movie definitely delivered on all of the thrills that you guys were talking about. Probably my favorite scene from that film is um is probably the two raptors in the kitchen stalking the kids near the end of the film. That was just that was a great scene and I loved it. And I really loved how clever the kids were to evade them. It was one of those like I was on the edge of my seat pretty much during that entire scene. A lot of other good scenes in the movie too. The emergence of the Tyrannosaurus for the first time was just so cool. Um, the two scientists, the two paleontologists, kind of seeing dinosaurs for the first time, and then the guy going welcome to Jurassic Park, and that was great. And I'll have you guys know, I actually showed Jurassic Park just just a couple weeks ago in the library. One of my teenagers had never seen it, and he kept saying every so often, he's like, welcome to Jurassic Park, this is the perfect time to do it. I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm like, wait for it, wait for it. He's like, I'm telling you, it's coming. Wait for it. And finally, when the big moment comes and he finally says, welcome to Jurassic Park, my teen looks at me, goes, okay, all right, that was good. I'm like, yeah. So, did I see one of the crew working the raptor when it entered the kitchen? No, I didn't. That's a thing? No, I totally missed that. I did not have my eye out for it. So, um, what is it? Do you see like an arm or something, or what's going on there? Um, so overall, I would say that I would say that Jurassic Park is pretty important to this list for me because not only did it kind of I'm not going to say it kickstarted it, but it sort of got the idea in my head that I could maybe do this kind of content. It's not the only reason. The experience itself was just something that I really enjoyed. Not just from the movie, but from you guys showing up, from you guys commentating, from you guys just being like, "Oh my god, this is great. We get to watch it with them for the first half." So yeah. Um, no, I definitely consider Jurassic Park to be an important first step for doing this kind of content on this channel. Um, so that was I mean, Jesus, it says 11 months ago. I don't remember the exact date. I want to say it was probably, well, let's see, 11 months ago. So it's December right now. So it would have been sometime in January, maybe February. All right. Important as it was, though, it wasn't enough to get me watching it regularly. Okay. So the next time I did a watch along was actually, let's see, 7 months ago. So that would have been in May. So about 4 months passed before I did any more movie watch along or watch parties or whatever you want to call them. And then I had done a kind of watch along with Amazing Spider-Man like back in 2023, but it was just me. All right. What I did this time is I had my friend Gwen who was over and she said, "Hey, I kind of want to do I haven't seen any of the Spider-Man movies. Why don't we like won't or any of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies? Why don't we watch those and react to them?" And I was like, "You know what? I haven't done one of those watch along or watch parties or whatever you want to call them. I'm calling them watch alongs for most of the year here." And then I was like, um, at the end, I changed it to watch party. So Gwen, my friend Gwen, is actually watching The Amazing Spider-Man with me. And it's one of those movies that like, I mean, I know these movies forwards and backwards and inside out and like she's watching it, we're having a good time and everything. And that was really fun because it did a couple of things. One, um doing content by yourself is one thing. Doing content with another person is something else because you have to at the very least you have to go and get them set up properly and everything. And so I didn't just want to do like a single camera thing. I gave, I turned the trouble cam on Gwen and then I slotted things out so that we both appeared in frame and everything. And that was great. So having her watch that movie with me was a lot of fun. Um, I call Gwen, I call her little sister number five because she technically, she kind of is at that point. Like she's kind of like my adopted little sister. So, hey Simba fan, how you doing? Good to see you. Only Jurassic Park movie I dislike is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Okay. That movie to me is just straight up awful. Okay, well, I have to take your word for it because I've only ever seen the first Jurassic Park. I'll get around to the other two at some point, or the other, what, five at some point. We'll get to them, but that first one was definitely a great first step for me. So, I was really excited to have Gwen along. Oh, and I guess let's go ahead and give The Amazing Spider-Man a rating. Jurassic Park gets a solid 9 for me. Like that one was important in terms of my viewing experience, in terms of the movie itself, and then also just in terms of kind of getting this whole watch party thing started for me. So all right. As for the Amazing Spider-Man itself, I'm going to give that about a 7. It's a fine Spider-Man movie, and then the experience of kind of putting a dual setup together for myself and Gwen was very useful for me. Um, but it's definitely I would call it maybe slightly upper tier from mid, but essentially, um, it's I'm sorry, it's got nothing on the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies or the Tom Holland ones or the animated ones, but All right, we're going to get to number 3 here and talk about The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is also a My Friend Gwen watch along. Um I was very excited when Gwen told me that she had never seen any of the Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield in them because that meant she had never seen Spider-Man No Way Home. And there was no way I was going to show her that movie without showing her Spider-Man 2. Even though, to me, of all of the live action Spider Man movies, this one is probably I'm not going to call it the worst, but it is the least good. All right. And I know people are going to have their opinions on it, and that's fine. But at least to me, it had nothing to do with Andrew Garfield and it had nothing to do with Emma Stone. It had everything to do with Sony execs trying to put their fingerprints on this movie. So, anyways, Gwen knew about Gwen Stacy's death. It was not a spoiler for her, but she had not seen it. Um, so it was really funny because there's a moment when can sense she can sense the big moment coming. And while we're watching this movie, she starts to get emotional and she like puts her hand out and demands that I take her hand and give her like emotional reassurance while we're watching it. Um, so another fun one. I would give Amazing Spider-Man 2 a 6 out of 10. Um, and this is not like a straight up rating of the film. This is a straight up rating of the film and my experience with it as a watch party slash watch along, which is going to be related but distinct from just a straight up rating of this movie. If I were just rating the movie by itself, it's probably a 5. So, anyways, so yeah, um, finally we get to one of my favorites here. So a couple weeks after that, probably sometime in June or July, I, I managed to get Gwen over here and we watched Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, if you've seen Spider-Man No Way Home, um, you, you, you know how good it is. That is a uniquely excellent Spider-Man film. I don't know if I'd call it the best Spider-Man movie, but it's definitely up there with the best. And yeah, I think I think Gwen getting to see Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man redeem himself, I think that was I don't know. I certainly enjoyed watching that. I certainly enjoyed watching her react to that part. And I think that's probably the last one that I did with my friend Gwen, who by this point she's she's got other stuff going on in her life. She's very busy. I'd love to get her back here. However, it's just kind of gonna depend on when her availability lines up with mine. So we'll see when it happens. But in the meantime, I hope Gwen is doing well and that all the things are going well for her in her life. Um, Spider-Man No Way Home, it's another 9. All right. It's another 9 because one, I love that movie and will never pass up a chance to watch it. Two, it's the final one of my collabs with Gwen, who essentially, I would love to get her back at some point, but we'll see when that happens. And then three, it just kind of nailed it. It drove home again the idea that, okay, I've just done like a semi successful series of this kind of content. Maybe we can do that again in the future. All right, number 5. Okay, Godzilla minus one. All right. So Godzilla minus one made its way onto this list kind of serendipitously. And what I mean by that is I had not planned to watch Godzilla minus one on my YouTube channel. What had happened was, let me see, this is from 5 months ago, so this would have been in July. All right. I had basically planned to show Godzilla minus one at the library for my teenagers. All right. And what ended up happening is that we got hit by a lightning storm during the movie. So we got maybe like a third into it. Boom, lightning storm. Knocks out our internet. I was streaming this movie from my Voodoo account, which, just so you guys know, as a library employee, it was legal for me to do that. All right. Wasn't breaking any laws. I had rented it from my Voodoo account and I was going to show it to my teenagers We got about a third into it, boom, suddenly no more movie, no more anything. We didn't have we could turn on the computers, but they couldn't access the internet, and most people need the internet to work. So nothing got done that afternoon. I was pissed, all right? I'm not going to lie. I was livid. I was like, I'm watching this movie. I rented this damn movie. I'm going to watch this damn movie. And I was like, you know what? You know what? It's been a little while since I've done a watch party. So you know what? I'm going to do a watch party on my YouTube channel tonight. And that is how it came about that I decided to put Godzilla minus one on my YouTube channel. Um, I hadn't planned it. It was simply because I was mad at the weather, basically. And oh God, guys, Godzilla minus one. That might be the first movie that I cried. Like I cried during Godzilla minus one. That might be the first movie that actually broke me on my YouTube channel because it's it is surprisingly emotional. Like I did not expect a frickin' kaiju movie to make me feel the things that I was feeling. And so I don't know. I definitely give the movie props for that. And really, I mean, I think I heard that they were making a sequel, and if they are, bring it on. I want more. Um, I don't mind like the MonsterVerse stuff. All that stuff is fascinating. Godzilla versus Kong, Godzilla X Kong, Godzilla, all that stuff. All that stuff is fine. But but this one, Godzilla minus one, that was like on another level. And I was just so surprised that it got me to it got me as into it as it did. I really wanted to, I really was on the side of the people trying to, take out Godzilla and everything. Um, there was the idea like the government won't help us; they're too afraid. We have to do it ourselves. That sense of community and relying on the people around you to have your back. Um, Godzilla minus one for these reasons, just for the fact that I enjoyed it so much, and the fact that again, so many of you, when you saw what I was showing, you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch him react to this," and you guys showed up, and you guys had plenty to say. This is gonna be the first 10. This is the first 10 on my list. So yeah, Godzilla minus one gets a 10. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Okay. So number 6 is Sonic the Hedgehog. All right. And I think this is the first video game movie. This is the first video game movie on this list. So, guys, I have never been the biggest Sonic the Hedgehog fan. I was probably a teenager when he came out, but I was definitely a Nintendo boy. One of my friends had the Sonic the Hedgehog game. I'd played it. I thought it was fine. I liked it. I don't have anything against Sonic. But Sonic was just not like my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like Spider-Man is my guy, all right? Mario is kind of my guy. Link is definitely my guy, all right? Sonic, he's all right. Um so I remember watching or reading all of the headlines when they were making a Sonic movie and how I think like the first trailer caused a lot of fan backlash because of how he looked and everything. And I remember reading all of that and I was like, hey, Sonic fans, go get it. Tell them what movie you want. Make them present the vision that you guys want to see. but I never went and watched it in the theaters. I had no intention of doing it because, again, Sonic is just not my guy, you know? But I think at that point, after Godzilla Minus One, I think some of you had just been like, you could do more of these. You could do more of these and we'd show up for them. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. And so I think I put it to a vote. And I want to say, like, I, I can't remember who was the one that was really pulling for it, for Sonic. It was probably Mesozoic Mind. And I was like, you know what? Okay, let's watch Sonic the Hedgehog. And so, this would have been, I think, in early September. It was either early September or late August. All right. And I watched it and I enjoyed it. It was a fun movie. Um, Very like live action cartoon type of movie. And I knew just enough I knew I knew just enough from the video games to be able to make some of the connections going on in the movie. Now, probably not as many as you Sonic fans out there, but I was like, I can see why people enjoy this movie. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. Never going to be in my top 10. Never going to be one of those movies that I'm like, I must watch this again because it is so good. No, no, no. But I enjoyed it. And I definitely understood why people enjoyed it and why there was a clamoring for a sequel. And I know that Sonic 3 just came out, and I know that some of you guys really want me to watch it. Here's the thing, it's still in theaters. I'm not going to go see it in theaters. So I think what we need to do at some point is plan on a Sonic the Hedgehog 2 watch party so that by the time Sonic the Hedgehog 3 comes out, we'll be ready to watch it, you know? And if you think that's a good idea, then I want you to throw some hands out in the chat. So, all right. Hey, Nightmare Haunts, how you doing? He says that he saw it yesterday and it was peak. Oh, really? Good. Um, I mean, my understanding is that Keanu Reeves voices Shadow. And you can attach Keanu Reeves to just about anything, and I'm gonna at least go, oh, really? I might want to watch that. So, and Sith Apple throwing some hands out in the chat. Thank you, Sith Apple. I appreciate you. All right. So Sonic the Hedgehog, if I I mean basically if I'm gonna rate it out of 10, and again, this is not just the movie, it's the entire experience of it on my channel. I would probably give Sonic probably a 7 or an 8. Let's go with a 7.5, basically. The movie's fine. I laughed at some jokes. I enjoyed it. I probably won't remember it as well as a lot of other people will. But again, those of you who showed up and expressed your enthusiasm about the movie and how happy you were that I was watching it and everything, that helped elevate the experience. So definitely a fun one there. So, all right, let's see. He does, yes. Okay, so he voices Shadow. CG Anime Fan gives the first two Sonic films an 8 out of 10. Nice. Muddy35, hello. As a recommendation of a movie to watch next year, as a watch along, if you have not seen it, Pixels. I'll put it on the list of movies that I haven't seen. It's a very big list. Actually, hold on. Let me see if I can find my movie suggestions spreadsheet. Let's see. Yeah, see, what I've done is I've done films that I haven't seen, but they're on very specific lists. So like the IMDb top 250. Then I have it like animated, sci-fi, fantasy, viewer suggestions. I'll go ahead and put Pixels on there because I don't think I've seen Pixels. So, but there we go. So thank you for the suggestion, Muddy35. I appreciate it very much. All right, moving on. Okay, Logan. Logan. All right. So, guys, I'm not going to lie. So, the reason I watched Logan, and I think I watched it like maybe a day or two after Sonic. All right. The reason that I watched Logan was because I had seen Deadpool and Wolverine. And without getting into too many spoilers, let's just say that there was definitely some connective tissue from the movie Logan that I really, really wanted to rewatch. And so I did. And so I basically build this one. Let me see. How many of these movies so far have I already seen? Just the Spider-Man movies. All right. So up until this point, we've got 3 movies that I have seen and then 3 movies that I hadn't seen. Logan was the first non-Spider-Man movie that I had seen that I was basically rewatching on my channel. And by this point, I'd started to get it pretty clear in my head. I was like, I could do a regular watch along, watch party, whatever you want to call it. And, I could do like movies that I've never seen because that's how most people do them. And then I could do movies that I have seen, but like that I could, stop and talk about them and stuff like that. And so I think I did a little bit of that with Logan. And I've watched enough movies that I've already seen that I think going forward, particularly into 2025, we're going to watch very few, if any, movies that I have already seen. I might make exceptions for Spider-Man movies because my name is Spideylibrarian, god damn it. And I mean, just look at the shirt I'm wearing. Like, yeah. So one of my idiot neighbors is firing off a gun in his yard, and he's doing it again. So, anyways, Logan, very much enjoyed. A lot of fun. I think at this point I have decided though that we're gonna try to not to do as many, if any, movies that I've already seen as watch-alongs. So, but Logan was one of those movies that when I saw it in 2017, I was like, "This is so good. This is amazing. It's a great send-off." And yeah, it still holds up, even after Deadpool and Wolverine. So, I think at this point I'm going to go ahead and just give that one a 9, and we're going to move on. Okay. Now, for those of you that have been coming regularly to my watch alongs, you are probably going to recognize this as the start of the regular watch along movie streams that I was doing. I decided that since it was early September, that, I wanted to do superhero movies. And I was like, and again, this probably came out of having seen Deadpool and Wolverine. I was like, you know, I've seen one of the Fantastic Four movies and I hated it. But let's go ahead and just do Fantastic Four movies. We'll do all of them, including the 1994 Roger Corman flick. And we watched it, and I mean, I will say that a good time was had. I'm going to expand this just a little bit so that you guys can see it a little bit better. All right. You don't need as much of my face on this screen, do you? So, anyways, so I started with the one that I had seen. I started with the 2015 Fantastic Four. And so the benefit that I had of seeing it in theaters with my friends is that afterwards we could just go and laugh at how bad the movie was together. All right. Watching it a second time, I was like, I mean, was it really that bad? I mean, this was like almost 10 years ago, maybe I was just being, overly no. No, I was not. I was not being overly critical at all. That is a terrible movie. Um, it's just so dark. And like it's trying to be grimdark Fantastic Four. And I'm sorry, that just doesn't work. It certainly doesn't work for me. All right. And yeah, like I felt like they screwed up Doom like you wouldn't believe. They really minimized Susan, who in my opinion is like she's like probably the most pivotal member of the Fantastic Four. And in this movie they gave her nothing to do almost. Um the story was just uninspired and I was just like I'm kind of done here. Uh I will say that one bright spot was Michael B. Jordan. He was giving it his all. He was doing what he could with the material that he was given as Johnny Storm. Kate Mara was okay. Um, but yeah, I did not end up really caring for this group as a whole. And the Fantastic Four, I mean, they're like the first family of Marvel Comics, all right? Their entire thing is that they're a family. Their entire thing is that they are in this together. You have to care about these characters. And the 2015 Fantastic Four movie had no interest in making you care for those characters. And so let's see. As far as experience goes, this one gets a 3. It really does. Like I think Mesozoic Mind was watching it along with me and was just slamming it the entire time. And I was like, dude, I feel you. So that was fun. But the movie itself just has not gotten any better with time. Now, the next three Fantastic Four movies, I hadn't seen any of them. I was watching all of them for the first time on this channel. And I will say, um, the 2005 Fantastic Four, oh my God, so good. Like seriously, it's probably currently my favorite Fantastic Four movie. Um, and I don't know what it is with actors who play the Human Torch going on to do so much better in the MCU, but Michael B. Jordan and Chris Evans both like they rocked their Johnny Storms, and then they went and rocked other roles in the MCU from Captain America to Killmonger. Now, the thing that I liked about this first Fantastic Four movie was just that it was very kind of true to the comic. And while I still had issues with how they portrayed Doctor Doom, like he was like this business magnate or something. Like, come on, dude is the ruler of Latveria. Like, embrace that. So they screwed that up. But aside from that, they do kind of nail most of the personalities of those characters, and I really enjoyed that. This was a movie that made you like the characters. This was a movie that made you like whenever they would bicker, instead of telling them, "Oh God, get over it. This is boring," and you're just sitting there going, "He did that to him. That's great." Really enjoyed it. This one gets like a solid 7. Fantastic Four 2005 gets a solid 7. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. So, really pretty enjoyable movie, actually. Pretty enjoyable movie up to a certain point. And then I got mad. I got really mad. Okay. So, Rise of the Silver Surfer does a good job of kind of continuing the story of the first family of Marvel Comics. We get to see the Silver Surfer. We get to see that there are issues going on with Reed and Susan's wedding planning, mostly that Reed is too absent-minded for Susan when it comes to this kind of thing. And there is the approach of the planet eating Galactus, which I was excited about. I was like, ooh, we're going to see Galactus. We're going to see Galactus, really? And then they showed us Galactus. Um, and that's where I got mad. They made him into like this cloud, this cosmic cloud. And I was like, no, no, no. I want big purple, more than planet sized cosmic dude eating planets. That's what I want. And like if you ever watch that watch along, that watch party, you'll see. You'll see when I see Galactus, it becomes very apparent because I get angry. I get angry really fast. In fact, the title of the Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer that I did is Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer Screwed Up Galactus. And I put that in all caps because I was angry. I was really angry. And here's the thing, that could have been the best Fantastic Four movie to date. And I know it could have been. And I know it because I've seen Marvel's The Eternals. Okay. And I know what you're going to say. "Oh, Marvel's The Eternals? That's not a good Marvel movie." And you know what? You know what? It's definitely different from a lot of other Marvel movies that have been made. And I will certainly grant you that. And that can rub people the wrong way. I get it. I get it. However, however, there is one moment from The Eternals that actually gave me like a split second of very real, very existential, like clutching at your stomach kind of fear. All right. And it was when, near the end of the movie, when Erisham shows up and basically starts to chastise the remaining Eternals for, you know, the death of Icarus and everything, and shows up to judge them. Because for like when he shows up, he literally fills the entire sky. He's bigger than planet Earth. And for like a moment, there's a scene where he just appears and he fills up the entire sky. I have never seen something fill up the entire sky. And for a split second, that moment scared the shit out of me. Okay. I'm not even going to lie. All right. Now, once I realized what was happening, I was like, okay, all right, all right, it's just a, but like I kind of imagined how I would react if I ever actually saw something that big in the sky. It might literally drive me crazy. I might go insane simply because like how can I even conceive of something that big, And yet it exists. And they could have done that. They could have had that moment in Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. And if they had, this movie's experience for me would have been an 8 or a 9 easy. But no, they screwed up Galactus. This movie gets a 5. This movie gets a 5, and I think I'm being generous. Okay. All right. And then finally, we have the Fantastic Four, the 1994 Roger Corman movie that was never actually released into theaters, but found its way to the internet. It was made. It wasn't good, but it did do one thing really well that the other Fantastic Four movies to this point have messed up. They got Doom's origin pretty close to correct. Yes, he's from Latveria. Yes, he's like Reed's rival and they're correcting each other's work and everything. Yes, they're friends from a young age. And then, of course, they split off once he starts to become Doctor Doom. They don't get the mystic part of Doom's origin, which at this point, I'm like, all right, fine, we don't have to have that, I guess. I really wish they would do it, though. I really want a good comics accurate Doom origin story. I don't know if we're ever going to get it. Okay. But this one at least did that portion of Doom correctly. Now the rest of the movie is very hokey. There is a stand-in for Mole Man who is clearly intended to be a stand-in for Mole Man. The outfits are not the best looking. That is true. And the special effects, oh my God. Okay. Now keep in mind, guys, this is like at the epigenesis of like CGI effects. It wasn't good. It wasn't ready. It was a movie ahead of its time. And yet there is a certain appeal to this movie. I have no problem saying that this is my second favorite Fantastic Four movie. This one gets a 6. No problems. All right. So number 12 is going to be the start of what I think I was calling it Spooktober. And I just did 4 horror movies, 2 of which I had seen and 2 of which I had not. The ones that I hadn't seen, it had been a while, so I figured I could watch them more or less fresh again. Oh, have I watched the documentary? Oh, the Fantastic Four 1994 documentary? I have not. I probably should at some point. But I started off with The Gate, which is an 80s, let's call it a kid's intro to Lovecraft movie, basically. It's kind of what it is. And essentially, these two these two boys through a hole in their like this hole in their yard. One of them finds a geode. They end up unwittingly summoning demons, and the demons come around and basically raise hell for them all weekend. Um, it's one of those movies that I remember as a kid, mostly for its imagery. I remember like at one point, the smart kid, the friend of the main character, who by the way is the same actor that plays Deacon Frost in Blade, in the very first Blade movie. Um, he actually gets like taken by the demons and like temporarily turned into one. Now they do manage to reverse that at the end of the movie, but like this is one of those movies that definitely left its mark on me, and I was like, I want to watch that again. It had probably been 30 years since I'd seen that movie. So I was like, let's watch that again. And I think it was a good way to start off Spooktober. And so for the gate, I would give that experience probably a solid 7. Just for the rewatch experience, the first movie of Spooktober, as I was calling it, and just overall a good movie that I think those of you that did end up watching it with me, you were like, this actually wasn't bad. So Stephen Dorff, yes, that is correct. CG Anime Fan says, I grew up watching the 2005 and 2007 Fantastic Four films. I missed them. Like, I was around when they came out in theaters and I did not watch them. I should have. So, but yeah, Stephen Dorff is the main kid in the gate. Yes, yes, he is. Okay. All right. So the first horror movie that I hadn't seen on this channel would be Evil Dead Rise. Evil Dead Rise actually completes my viewing of all of the Evil Dead movies. I've seen the Evil Dead 1, 2, and then Army of Darkness, which is technically the third movie. I'd seen those, and then I saw the reboot that they did of Evil Dead probably about 10, 11 years ago, and I enjoyed it. Evil Dead Rise, I had not seen. I think it had only come out about a year beforehand, or maybe earlier this year. I can't quite remember, but wow. That was one of those movies, like whenever you watch an Evil Dead movie, especially one of the remakes that's set in the present day, do not expect nice things to happen in those movies. Those things are evil. They are coming for you, and they do not care. They are going for your throat. They will use your mother's voice to lure you out So the thing possessing your mother can kill you with while it's wearing your mother's face. All right. Um, and that's kind of what it's kind of the gist of this movie, to put it bluntly. Um, couple of moments that I kind of cheered at was like when oh God, when one of the remaining survivors got her hands on a chainsaw, and I was like, oh, you deadites are in trouble now. Now a chainsaw is involved. I remember what happens to you guys. And yeah, it was just kind of one of those like I'm really glad I saw this, but man, this was not an easy watch, you know. And I really feel like after watching that movie, I feel like the survivor of this movie, the survivor of I think it's the 2013 Evil Dead movie, and then like, Bruce Campbell, like all of them kind of need to like come together and form like a Deadite Avengers team where like they go out combating Deadites, you know. I'm like, I think I need this. I think this needs to happen, you know. I don't know if it will, but that was my thought when I saw it. So, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and kill off the trouble can because at least for now I've stopped eating. Um, so we'll get back to it another time. So, all right. Number 14 would be Alien. Now, if you've seen Alien, um, you know why this movie makes so many great horror movie lists, right? It's just like, yes, it's a science fiction movie, and I think I do have it classified as a science fiction movie. But I mean, like, people are here for the scares. People are here for the H.R. Geiger aliens and the architecture and all of that, just like that setting material that makes you uneasy and makes the atmosphere foreboding. Now, I've seen this movie, I can't tell you how many times, but it's been a few years since I'd seen it before this last watch party. And the way that I know that this movie is great is I've seen it as many times as I have. I know where the scares are, I know where they're coming. And those moments still get me. Like, I literally still jumped when that thing reached out and grabbed Dallas while he was alone on his little mission. Um, and I knew it was coming. And my body didn't care. My body was still freaked out. That movie is a masterclass in tension building. And yeah, no, I loved it. Alien, that is at least a 9, if not a 10. That viewing experience was awesome. I don't know that I gave ratings out to. Did I give a rating to The Gate and The Evil Dead? I'm pretty sure I gave a rating to the 1994 Fantastic Four. Evil Dead. Evil Dead gets an 8, and I would say The Gate gets a good 7. So, if I didn't already give it that. All right. Okay, so some of my younger viewers were successful in getting me to watch Five Nights at Freddy's. I think I might have put that one to a vote, and it ended up coming out with quite a few of the of the votes. And I was like, you know what? I've played Five Nights at Freddy's. I lost sleep that night. I'll watch it, sure. And I didn't realize that Josh Hutcherson was in it. I was like, hey, Peter Millark is in it. Let's go ahead and watch it, you know. Not a bad movie actually. Not a bad movie at all. I would basically say that it gets about the same rating as Sonic would. And what did I give Sonic? I gave it like a 6 or a 7. I would say the same about Five Nights at Freddy's. I was entertained. I enjoyed it. Um, and it's probably a movie I'll end up forgetting eventually. Um, but like I was able to connect enough of the story lore to be like, oh wow, okay. I'm having a good time here. This is Sonic was a 7.5. Okay. Sith Apple, thank you so much because I'm not keeping track right now. uh, Sith Apple, it would be hilarious to me if you had like a spreadsheet out and you had this list of movies already going, and I'm like, okay, here's what he did. Here's what he did. Here's I'm sorry, that would just be funny to me. Um, but it's what I would do if I had the presence of mind to do it. So, all right. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's, I enjoyed it. I was able to connect it enough to the video game. And you know, it's a horror movie, it's a video game movie, and I liked it. I would say it gets a good 6. All right? And for again, guys, 6 is not bad. All right? It's just I have to keep these things on a scale. So if you're offended by a 6, don't be. Um Pay attention to what I'm saying rather than the number I'm giving it. So, all right, let's see. Next up is Coco. Okay. All right. So Coco, I would have shown the first Saturday after um, Halloween and Dia de los Muertos, because Coco is very much a Dia de los Muertos movie. I've seen Coco so many times, and I still can't watch that movie without crying because the story is so beautiful and emotional, and it is such a well put together movie. It is vibrant, even though it's a story about the dead. It is it's a good example of how intergenerational trauma can can affect people decades or even centuries later. And when Miguel finds out who his actual great grandfather is, and they make that connection, and then you see him singing to Coco. Um, oh God, the what's the name of the song? I can't remember the name of the song. I hate myself right now. Um, but um, but yeah, like I cannot not tear up at that. You know, Remember Me. There we go. The name of the song was Remember Me. I forgot the song named Remember Me. Okay. Anyways, but I mean that movie is about the importance of family. That movie is about the importance of following your dreams. That movie is about compromise. That movie is about intergenerational trauma. That movie is probably my favorite animated movie of all time. And I say that having seen the Spider-Man animated movies, and I think that's saying something. So, um, okay, CG anime fan didn't like Coco that much. Hey, if it doesn't speak to you, it doesn't speak to you. Um, and I mean, like, at least, like, one, CG, I appreciate the honesty. But two, at least when you are stating that you didn't like it, at least you're doing it in a respectful manner. I see a lot of people who will come online to forums and say, "Oh my God, I don't understand why people like this movie. It's like it's like someone took a shit on a shingle and then put it out there for the world to see." And the implication with phrasing like that, which again, I mean, like, yes, it's their opinion. Sure, they're welcome to their opinion, but the implication in an opinion like that is that they're basically insulting other people who have decided to like it. Oh, well, if you like it, then this must be the kind of thing that you like. And and so, like, your expression of not liking it is not something I'm going to have a problem with. Um, but a lot of people will hide behind it's just my opinion. I can say what I want, right? And I mean, I've made it pretty clear on this channel before that there are certain boundaries about what you can and can't say here before I'll ban you. And I'm not flexing the ban hammer on anyone right now, but I am saying that, like, I appreciate respectful discourse. And CG anime fan, you have never been anything but respectful in your discourse, even when you disagree with someone. And so I just want you to know that, like, expressing that you don't like something very much is actually extremely respectful compared to how many times and how often and the degree to which I've seen people go out of their way to express an opinion that offends others. And yeah, so, you know, I don't have a problem with that at all. So, um, we agree to disagree, and I'm okay with that as long as we're doing it in good faith, you know? All right, he says that Coco has a decent amount of heart, but didn't emotionally move me as much as I wish that it did. I mean, again, you know, we're all wired differently too. I mean, I'm not going to make any presuppositions about, you know, what is going on with you or anything. But it just may be that the themes in Coco are just not something that you know, that appeal to you on a personal level. And that's fine. That's a-okay, you know. Again, we are all welcome to have opinions. I'm a-okay with that. Uh I just wish as many people were as respectful as you are when expressing a an opinion that may contradict what others have to say about it. So, all right. Anyways, yeah, no, Coco, that's another movie that broke me. Um, yeah, Coco's a 10. I'm sorry. Coco's a 10. All right. So the next movie is one that definitely won a poll because I wouldn't have just picked this movie. Big Trouble in Little China. Now the thing is, I've seen Big Trouble in Little China. Probably been a couple of decades since I'd seen it. I couldn't remember a thing about it. And so I went ahead and watched it. Excuse me. Had a decent amount of people show up for that one too. Very over the top, very much kind of a like this is an action movie that doubles as a comedy and also a fantasy. And the guy, the main action hero guy, played by Kurt Russell, is one of those people that you just wonder how in the hell could a guy like this ever survive a situation like this, because he is so full of himself, he is so cocky, he is he is the person that would step on a mine and not know it and somehow it wouldn't blow up, basically, you know. um it was enjoyable. I liked it. It's probably not going to stick with me very well, but a lot of people showed up and had a, you know, a lot of fun was poked at the movie. A lot of good times were had. So as an experience, I would say this one gets a solid 7. So, all right, after that, we're getting to the bottom of the list here, guys. Um, I decided to watch The Green Mile. Okay, sorry. It wasn't particularly emotional. I just wanted to crunch on some ice. So, I know that's probably a terrible habit. So the reason that I decided to watch The Green Mile is because The Green Mile had also been an early winner, along with Jurassic Park, of many of my Patreon polls. And it was one of those movies that I'd never gotten around to watching, and that I was like, you know, I need to watch this. I'd never seen it before. And I got I got The Green Mile off of Voodoo because it was sold in a two-pack bundle along with The Shawshank Redemption. And if you know anything about me other than Spider-Man, um, you'll know that The Shawshank Redemption is probably my favorite movie of all time. And The Green Mile has a lot in common with The Shawshank Redemption. It's directed by, like, both movies are directed by Frank Darabont. Both movies are set in a prison. Both movies are based on literary works by Stephen King. Um, I would say those are the big ones. I would say those are the big ones. There might be something else that I'm missing, but I'm gonna stick with those for now. And that movie is 3 hours long. That is a long movie. I think that's longer than Avengers Endgame. Okay. And I was pretty well hooked, like right from the get go. I mean, I was in it for the whole movie. Really, really enjoyed the Green Mile. Um, I think that Michael Clark Duncan and Tom Hanks turn in amazing performances. James Cromwell is in there. Bonnie Hunt is in there. Um, oh God, the lady who plays James Cromwell's wife. That oh, hi, sweetie. Oh, I love you. God, you look so tired. Okay, okay, you sleep well. All right. Good night. I love you. Sorry, guys, my partner had to go to bed. So, um, but anyways, everyone just turned in a really good performance. What's his name? Percy Wetmore. I hated that man. I don't think I had ever seen red, or at least I hadn't in a long time. Um, but when Percy Wetmore stepped on the mouse, I was like I immediately started to see red. I'm like, I want to kill this person with my bare hands. And yeah, it was an experience, and it was a very beautiful movie. I really enjoyed it. I would say that the Green Mile definitely gets I think it gets an 8. I'm gonna take a little bit off because it was very long, but still a very enjoyable movie. Really liked it, and I'm glad I finally got to see it. So I had never seen Jumanji before watching it on this channel. I had never seen Jumanji. I remember when it came out in theaters because it was a 90s movie, I believe. And uh I mean at this point it's been 10 years since we lost Robin Williams. And um I I can think of like a handful of people that I have a lot of emotions tied up in. Robin Williams is one of those like celebrities who like I was pretty affected when he passed. Um, Another one would be Stan Lee. I think I told you guys about how I cried on the day that he died. Um, I would say Keanu Reeves is another one, believe it or not, you know. But part of the reason that I chose to watch Jumanji is simply because it was another Robin Williams movie that I hadn't seen, and I really wanted to watch another performance of Robin Williams that I hadn't seen yet, and it was good. I liked it. It was a good movie. I liked the kind of frenetic, zany adventuring that happened once the kids discovered the game and what it could do, and how it brought Robin Williams's character back as an adult and everything. It worked out so well. I do kind of wish that the ending had been a little bit different. But I do like in a lot of ways I think that without knowing it, Jurassic Park did kind of show us the concept of a multiverse, Or I'm sorry, Jurassic Park, Jumanji, not Jurassic Park. Jumanji showed us the concept of a multiverse. And you know, Robin Williams had a lot of, he did have some comedic bits in this, but really, I find that I find that maybe because of his career in stand-up comedy, maybe because of the comedic stuff that he has done in films, whenever he has a dramatic scene, he crushes it. He knocks it out of the park without even trying. And there were a couple of scenes like that here where you see his pain at the time that's passed, and that his parents are gone and everything, and it's just I don't know. I it was a good watch. Jumanji gets a 7. No problem. All right, I skipped. I was gonna watch V for Vendetta after Jumanji, but I'd seen it before. I kind of was I think I just needed a night off from doing movie watch parties, and so I just kind of skipped it. Um, we'll get to V for Vendetta at some point in the future, but because I haven't seen it in a long time, and I know it's a good movie, but at least for now, decided that it was time to skip it. And then we're getting to the first. We're getting to my what is essentially my holiday movie. If you've never seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, I highly recommend you see it someday. Um, for me, it is not the holidays until I have watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation and until last year eaten a Hostess or no, Little Debbie. You know how they put out those snack cakes every Christmas season? They do the Christmas tree cakes. I don't like the vanilla ones. I like the chocolate ones. And so for me, the holidays were eating one of those and watching either National, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation or Die Hard. Fight me. It's a holiday movie. Anyways, until I've seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, at least, it's not the holidays. And I think what I like about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is that it is. Oh, hi, Trouble. Hello. Welcome. It's good to see you. How are you? Yeah? Are you good, kitty? Are you good, kitty? What's up? Come on, you can come up here. Come on, baby, you can come up here. There we go. There we go. Hey, everybody, look who's here. Miss Trouble has made an appearance. She has graced us with her presence. How is my sweet kitty? How is she doing? She is the sweetest baby, and I love her. I love her so much. Oh, oh, this baby. I love her. Okay. Anyways, um, but yeah, like everything that can go wrong for Clark during this big family Christmas that he wants to to have for everyone pretty much does go wrong. From hanging lights to finding a tree to Christmas shopping to even trying to get like just get the Christmas bonus that he customarily gets from his place of employment. Everything that can go wrong does go wrong, and usually in hilarious ways. But I think one of the reasons that I like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation over many other Christmas movies is that it really does kind of pile on um, the notion that even with all these things going on, even even all these screw ups, that you know persisting and still trying to be there for your family and have them remember all the love that you gave them and all the things that you tried to do for them around the holidays, that really resonates with me. And so I feel like this movie appeals to me on two different levels. One, because it's funny, and two, because it's also heartwarming. So, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, I think I watch this movie at least once a year. And I was happy to share this one with you guys on the channel. This one gets an easy 9 for me. There are so many things I love about this movie. So, oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. All right. CG anime fan is probably going to remember this one pretty well. So, hey, Matt Cave, how you doing? Merry Christmas to you, my friend. I hope all is well. and that you are having a wonderful post-Christmas kind of holiday season. We're going through the movies that I've watched this year on the channel, and right now we've just hit the I I think the unintentionally greatest one. I am talking, of course, about the Super Mario Brothers movie from 1993. So, here's the thing. If you ever think you're going to be able to stream Super Mario Brothers in anything other than potato quality, you better think again. Apparently, you will never find this movie on a streaming platform because the rights are just screwed up beyond all repair. The Mario, see, this commentary stream was interesting because I had to watch this one on a disc, which means I couldn't watch this at my computer. So I had to, while the stream was going, I had to kind of jury rig a setup because I had to watch it on my screen. I'm going to pull the mic in a little bit. I had to watch it on my screen over on this side of my room. So I had to grab the trouble cam and I had to point it at me and make sure that you guys could hear me. I had to make sure that the microphone was pointed at me. I had to do all this stuff that I hadn't thought of beforehand. And so that was a big part of the stream as well. And so that was definitely a learning experience for me, and I think it was overall a pretty positive one because I was, you know, I was a little hamstrung at first, but once I got underway, I was able to pop the disc into my PlayStation 5, watch the movie, and everything just kind of worked at that point. I may be doing that for tomorrow's viewing of A Silent Voice because I've got that on disc. If I can find it on streaming, I might do it on streaming instead, but I may have to do I may have to do the physical media setup again, which I need to figure out kind of like a regular setup for that I have not been able to do lately. As for the movie itself, oh my God, I don't think I laughed as hard at any other movie this year as I did at Super Mario Brothers. Um, it was so ridiculous. And it's kind of like Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance or um is it I think Evil Dead 2 where it's like unintentionally funny. There were so many shout outs. There were so many ridiculous things going on. There was Dennis Hopper's hair. The fact that he was King Koopa and not Bowser, I'm like, wow, that's okay, that was a thing. Um no, I really enjoyed it. Now, Super Mario Brothers is not a great movie. It is also not a great video game movie. But you can see that despite all of the obvious problems that were going on around that movie, that John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins decided to have fun. And by fun, I mean they were drunk. And I, you know, I'm not gonna lie. Like Matt Cave says, this movie will always have a special place in my heart because um it is just like when you think of a 90s movie in all of the most over the top ways possible, Super Mario Brothers kind of fits that bill in a big way. And I really just appreciate that this movie even got made back then. So I you know, I it's you're never going to again, you're probably never going to see it on streaming. But it would not be a bad idea to pick up a copy on disc or Blu-ray or something. And I'm not saying you have to buy it because I got my copy from my local library. Again, actual librarian here. And I'm saying you could do the same. But yeah, Sith Apple says Prime and Netflix. What are you talking about? Oh, are you talking about A Silent Voice? Because I know you're not talking about Super Mario Brothers. But yeah, the caption that I gave it, Super Mario Bros. Is the best kind of disastrous adaptation. Yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed it. Definitely enjoyed it. It was really funny to me that the the black woman that Mario dances with, and that he gets the little charm out from between her boobs, basically. That's actually like her name is Big Bertha. She's named after one of them fishes from the Super Mario Brothers cartoon. I was like, are you kidding me? That's awesome. Mario fished that thing away from a fish, you know? Yeah, no, like all of these weird little like Easter eggs and call outs to the game were in this movie. You had to look for some of them, and I'm not going to deny. When we finally see Mario and Luigi in their red and green video game colors, I was like, yes. I was so happy that in this disaster of a movie that, like yeah, they got the suit up basically. So great. So great. Super Mario Brothers gets an 8. It's not a great movie, but the experience the experience is something I'm going to remember for some time. So, and then finally, just last Saturday, I watched Galaxy Quest. Now, I've seen Galaxy Quest. I've seen it a couple of times, although it has been a few years. And I don't know if I say it enough on this channel. I occasionally will do like a trailer reaction to like a Star Trek show or something, and no one cares because like, I'm guessing most of you guys are not Star Trek fans. You're not here for that. But I am a huge, huge Star Trek fan. I got into it when I was probably a freshman in high school, and I remember watching, like, I went back and watched the original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine was my favorite Star Trek for a very long time. And then I finally bit the bullet and got Paramount Plus and started watching all the new Star Trek that's out, and oh my god, I love it. It's so good. Um Picard season 3. Oh, so amazing. But Galaxy Quest is an interesting movie because it's basically a send up of Star Trek. It is making fun in a very loving way at the fans, at the shows themselves, at a lot of the conventions. And I'm not just talking about the fan conventions either. I'm talking about like the conventions of the show themselves. Like when Tim Allen's character's shirt comes off during a conflict, like that always seemed to happen with William Shatner. And, it's like, oh great, he's lost his shirt again, The the Spock character played by Alan Rickman was very much like, it was like Leonard Nimoy and the whole like, oh, I'm supposed to be an actor. Why am I playing this alien? Like why is this my bread and butter? I don't know. I there's so much to love about this movie, and I think that overall it's just one of those films that I have to watch every so often to be like, yes, um, you know, Star Trek is awesome, Galaxy Quest is awesome, and I kind of wish that we had gotten some manner of sequel from it, but I also understand why they never made one. So, Galaxy Quest was a fun one. I would say that it gets an 8 as well. So, and that's pretty much everything for my views this year. I suppose if I had waited to do this until Sunday, we could have included a silent voice, but maybe we can do a silent voice on next year's because I don't know. You know how these end of the year streams are. They come out a few days before the end of the year because that's how a lot of channels do it. So I did want to go ahead and let you guys know that I have figured out the viewing schedule for January. So, a couple of things that you may want to know is that starting in January, we are going to we're going to move the movie viewing nights to Fridays instead of Saturdays. Um, I realize that might mean a downtick in the number of people who are able to show up. I hope that isn't the case, but I just felt like trying something different because I kind of want to do gaming on Saturday nights, like do some gaming streams on Saturday nights. So we're gonna go, and the guy finally got a last name. I'm not gonna lie, Sam Rockwell was pretty good in that movie. Like he was, it was like, oh my god, I'm the extra. I'm gonna die. Like he nailed all of that. And again, I loved it. So all right. So we're gonna move movie nights to Fridays in 2025. So here is the lineup for January, guys. On Friday, January 3rd, I will be watching a horror movie called Train to Busan. I've never seen it. I've heard really good things about it. And it's one of those movies that I will actually be talking with some of my coworkers who also like horror media. We'll be talking about it during a live stream the following week. And if you guys ever want the links to those things, let me know and I'll put them out on the community board. All right. So on Friday, January 3rd, Train to Busan. All right. On Friday, January 10th, we will be watching uh, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. This is a movie that won the poll that I had put up, basically saying, hey guys, I've seen less than a dozen Westerns. What are some good Westerns that I should watch? And so I chose four movies that had been suggested to me. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly ran away with it. It got 70% of the vote by the time I closed the poll 24 hours later. That is amazing. And I guess I shouldn't be too surprised because it is the only movie in the IMDb top 10 that I have not seen. So we'll be watching that. I'm still going to have to figure out access to it because I think you're going to have to. Um, I think I have to I don't know if I have to subscribe to AMC Plus or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm not that worried about it. So all right. You were waiting for the second episode and wasn't there? I'm sorry, Sith Apple. What are you talking about? I'm not I don't understand. Please let me know because if there's something I can do about that, then I will. So, all right. On Friday, January 17th, another movie that I don't know how I'm going to get access to it, but I will get access to it, is going to be 2004's The Punisher. So The Punisher only got, oh, my horror podcast? My horror podcast? What are you talking about? I don't have a horror podcast. Horror podcast. Oh, are you talking about the Facebook Lives that I did with my coworkers? Okay, all right, all right. You know what? I will link you those in Discord. Are you on my Discord, Sith Apple? Um, if you're on my Discord, then I will be able to link those to you because we did four of them. So yeah. All right. So the Punisher is not my favorite superhero, which is why I haven't seen any of his movies. But this one beat the others handily. It beat out Electro, it beat out Blade, believe it or not, Blade 2, I think. And it also beat out Hulk, which I think was second place. I think the Punisher got like 60% of the vote and Hulk got like 30% of the vote. Poor Elektra got nothing. Kind of felt bad. So then on Friday, January 24th, I will be watching on Paramount Plus. I will be watching Star Trek Section 31. All right. I feel like it is time I need to flex my Star Trek muscles on this channel and see if I can get some more Trekkers to come out to this channel because yeah, I love Spider-Man. I also love Star Wars. I also love Star Trek. I also love the Dresden Files. I think I should do like a 10 things other than Spider-Man that I'm crazy about so that you guys can see that you know it's not all about webs for me, but you know, a lot of it, but there's other stuff. There's other stuff. And that movie will be dropping on the 24th. So I will be watching it when it is very much a new thing. So, oh, did I say Electro rather than Electra? I'm sorry. I do that sometimes. I flub. It's okay. All right. And the final movie that I will be watching in January on Friday, January 31st. Guys, I've never seen this. I believe it's also on Paramount Plus. It's also a science fiction movie, technically, but it's also an animated movie. I have never seen Iron Giant. Never seen it. We'll be watching that for the first time on January 31st. Hopefully, you guys will turn out in force for that one. I, I, yeah, I see the look that Sith Apple has just given me in the chat. See, when I put out a movie like that I haven't seen, that I know people are going to be like, "How have you never seen this?" This is what I want. I want you guys to show up. I want you guys to watch it with me. I want you guys to I want you guys to comment. I want you guys to engage. I want you guys to be like, we support you watching all these things that you've never seen before. And you know, so show up for that one. Show up for all of these. Show up for all of these. I know that people are busy on Friday nights. I get it. But show up for these. Like, come hang out. You know, come crack open some popcorn, have a soda. We'll watch we'll watch these movies and I'm gonna try to watch as many in 2025. I'm gonna try to watch as many as possible that I have never seen before. So come out for these. Come out for these and you know, let's make 2025 as new and as awesome as possible. And let's do it together, you know? And by the way, while I'm on that note, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Memberships are live on the channel. And so if you can, you know, spare a few bucks a month, it would always be appreciated. There is the troublemaker tier, the library thwipster tier, and then the the webliographer tier, which that one I will be really surprised if anyone like you're basically when you buy that tier, you get the power to choose, like directly choose one of the movies that I watch. So, but in any case, this has been a fun review. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I certainly I don't know. I certainly enjoyed it. And be ready to watch my it'll be the first anime that I've watched on this channel tomorrow. We'll be watching A Silent Voice. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I think in the meantime, I think I'm going to get going. So, thanks again to everyone who kind of tuned in for this. I really do appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your engagement. I appreciate just everything that you guys do for me. So come on out and I'll hopefully see you tomorrow. In the meantime, I think I'm going to get going. So take care. This is Spidey Librarian. And until my next stream or upload, I'll be wishing you a good day. Bye.